Camp has been going pretty good. Guys that have been competing day in and day out. Defense has probably been having a little bit more better days than offense at this point. But that's sometimes to be expected. They got a really good defensive line over there. Those guys are doing a good job of creating pressure, especially through the middle. So we just got to get better at that. From a receiver standpoint, DJ, DeMario have been having a really good camp for us. We got to get some, depth on the outside. Someone to help Noah Frith out, someone to help, CJ Daniels and those guys out. So we're creating that depth as we speak, and so we're excited where things are right now, and we're just ready to finish it up.
You guys have moved Stetson Moore out there as well. How has he looked here, adapting to new position, new responsibilities?
Today was Stetson's best day, in my opinion. Moving. The good thing about Stetson, he knows the signals, okay, but applying it to what the receivers do, he had to learn that part of it. So his acclimation to the position was a little bit quicker because he knew the signals. Today he was able to get the signals, process it, and perform at a high level, and I was very proud of him. So I think that he made the right move to move out there with us. Coach Freeze made that move, and he's going to be, a guy that's going to be in the mix when we play September the 4th.
From a physicality standpoint, what does he go? 6'4", 220, 230, something like that?
So,
I mean, what kind of a threat can he be out there?
6'4", he's gotten to 247 over the summer, and he's down around 238, and being able to lean on DBs, use his big body on a consistent basis. That's what he's learning to do right now. Use his techniques that's going to help him to be open, create space for those quarterbacks to get the ball to us in some tight areas. So he's starting to learn how to use his body to create space for himself.
What kind of speed does he have out there?
You know what? You'll be surprised by his speed and quickness and how he can sink his hips and get in out of breaks. That was surprising to me because a lot of guys like that you would think would be stiff, but he can really sink his hips and get in and out of breaks. He does it really well. If I had to put I think he's probably like a 4.68, something like that, 4.7.
Let's go to John Manson from the Cedar Red.
Coach, you talk about wanting to get some more depth there on the outside, and you bring back everybody except for CJ at that position. And you guys were hampered by a lot of injuries. I know Noah, Javian, most notably missed a lot of time.
Yes.
Are guys, obviously, knock on wood, keep them healthy, but are those guys that can provide what you guys need on the outside in addition to a guy like Stetson?
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing. Last year, this time, we were decimated with injuries. And we are creating, some really good depth with Javian, with Shaw is back for us. Trayon Sibley is having a phenomenal camp. He had a death in the family, so he hadn't been here the last couple of days. But those guys are really doing a good job for us on the outside. And then too, having ways to put DeMario and DJ in the game at the same time. We're doing those things as well to give us some more depth on the outside. But I think the main thing this year compared to last year is that we're healthy on the outside, and those guys are competing. They're pushing one another, and I expect to see the benefits of that. When we play Campbell on September the 4th.
Damian from the Lynchburg News and Events.
Maurice, I know when you guys brought in CJ Daniels, you guys were thinking of him as a taller slot receiver.
Yes.
And we've seen him working a lot outside, especially on the field side there, alternating with Shaw in the first and second teams. Is that a position that you guys feel like he's best suited at there on the outside?
For what we need right now, I think it's kind of hard to take DeMario and DJ off the field. Those guys are dynamic in what they do. So for what we need right now, but when we go 12 personnel and we have a bigger slot in there, we can easily put CJ inside, but he has the skill set to play inside or outside for us. But right now, we need CJ outside.
John, go ahead.
I wanted to ask you about two young guys, Ahmad Jackson and Kylan Austin.
Yeah.
Jackson was here last year and pretty much redshirted, even though the year didn't count. How is he in his development? And Austin, a little bit of a slot guy, looks like it. Looked like he made some plays at that scrimmage last week.
Yeah, so I would start with Ahmad first. Ahmad is still developing. He has to grasp what we're doing so he can play fast. Right now, he's doing a lot of thinking out there as opposed to getting the signal, hurrying, getting lined up, and performing at a high level. He's thinking too much right now. Kylan is going to be a good player for us. He's just slight right now. But when he first got here, he was like 140, 149, and I think right now he's up to like 170 something. So Dom has been doing a really good job, and Danielle, getting him beefed up so he can be able to perform and use his body and not getting tossed around out there. But he's going to be a phenomenal player for us. And unfortunately, right now he's just behind DeMario and DJ. But he's a quick learner. He's a student of the game, and he wants to please. So he goes out every single day and works extremely hard.
Not a guy like DJ Stubbs that, yes, he's a slot receiver, but I feel like you guys have been able to find ways to get him out on the perimeter and get him some one-on-ones downfield just because of his speed, I guess. How can he help you out there as well?
Yeah, so with his speed and quickness, especially to the field when most of the DBs are off to the field, I think he can really do a good job for us out there. You get him the ball in space, he can make one guy miss. The first guy rarely tackles DJ, so if we put him outside to the field, and we're tampering with putting him to the boundary. Today's practice, we put him to the boundary some as well, just to see what he can do over there. So, and the thing about DJ, he just has a high football IQ, so he understands big pictures. And where we put him, no matter what play it is, he can function.
One other one from me, and then we'll get to John. How much do you work with these guys on not giving up on a play because of what Malik can do with extending a play? And, either if that's blocking downfield or not giving up on the route, how much are you preaching that to these guys, or do they know it at this point?
Yeah, so that's a two-part question for us. So number one, when Malik is scrambling, we know whether it's team skelly, half skelly, no matter what we're doing one-on-ones, we scramble with him. We have scramble rules. And also when Malik is scrambling and he decides to take the ball and run it, we want to transition and become blockers. So those are things that we work on a daily basis to make sure that when Malik decides to scramble, that we can do whatever job we need to fit what is going on at the time.
Go ahead.
Coach, I know you've coached and recruited a lot of guys that are real talented in the NFL and have been before. But where does DeMario rate among some of those guys? He's one of the most explosive guys that you've been around.
Yes, he is. Elijah Moore and DeMario remind me a lot of each other, not just with the skill set, but mentality. Elijah came in as a freshman just with a workman's type mentality and wanted to get more reps, wanted to ask, he always asked questions about, what could he be doing better to get more playing time, to get a full understanding of the concept that we're trying to implement at the time. So I would really compare Elijah Moore and DeMario. And the thing is, every time, DeMario's super fast, I truly believe, but every time we ran a 40 around here, DeMario has been hampered with something, you know what I mean? So I don't know quite how fast he is. I just know guys can't run with him.
Amen.
You look at a guy like Kevin Shaw, and he's in your group undersized for being an outside receiver, but does his speed allow him to excel out there at that position?
Yes, especially to the field. Guys can't put hands on Kevin. He does a really good job at the line of scrimmage, using his technique to get off jams. And then once he gets behind those guys, he can extend the play for us, as you guys saw last season. But the thing about Kevin, he, like DJ, like DeMario, you can plug those guys anywhere and they can function because they have a understanding of the full concept of what we're trying to get accomplished. So we're excited about Kevin and what he does for our team. And you know what? Another thing about Kevin too is he will mix it up blocking, and he's a really good example, for me to show those other guys. If Kevin, when 168 pounds, can mix it up and be physical in blocking, so can you guys.
Ed Lane.
Coach, just from last year to this year, what difference have you noticed, particularly the ramp up from the off season to this season, having had an off season, not just for full practice, but for guys to be on the same page, to bond, to hang out together in terms of their readiness and their ability to not only work together as wide receivers, but be on the same page with Malik and the entire offense?
The biggest thing I've seen is the amount of, you talk about when you implement a system, with everybody coming back, the amount of MAs, Missed Assignments, has decreased tremendously. Guys know what to do. So now it's up to us to teach them how to do it the right way. And so that's the biggest standout to me, is that guys know what to do, know where to be, and when to be there.
Coach, last one. Is there anyone we haven't talked about today? I know we've run through a lot of names. Anyone we haven't talked about that maybe we should be, based on what you've seen in camp?
Brody Baum is very steady in what he does for our team, on the field and off the field. You talked about JVN. Trayon Sibley, like I said, he's progressing for us, and we're excited to see what he's going to do for us this season. That's for sure. So I think we hit on all the other guys.